Welcome back to the Relentless Transitions podcast, everyone. I am Rosalind Keith up here in a snowy Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, and I am joined by my co host from Georgia. Do you get snow in Georgia, Teresa?
You know what we do, but if we get
Okay.
snow in Georgia, it is a state of emergency. Everything closes. If we even hear that it's thinking about snow, everything, all the grocery stores are cleaned out, and I mean, people are in. No one's on the roads. It's just, but I love snow. You didn't tell me you had snow.
Well, yeah, I mean, this time of the year, the snow is really comes and goes. So we have a light dust. I will call it a light dusting this morning.
Mm,
You can still see the grass peeking through and stuff. And then tomorrow it's supposed to be like well above freezing. So it'll all be gone. It'd probably even be gone by the end of the day today. The sun is out now shining brightly and it's all starting to melt already. So
mhm.
this time of the year, we have it really just light dustings. It's not until actually after Christmas that the snow
It
really
really
piles
gets
on.
serious.
Yeah, yeah, and then it gets tedious.
Well, next year when we're travel vlogging,
Yeah,
because I'm just going to keep putting it out there that we're going to be traveling and vlogging about our
yeah,
experiences,
yeah.
then we might be able to capture some of that snow.
So, we got ourselves off on a little tangent there, but for those of you who don't know, we're the Relentless Transitions podcast, and we talk about life, we talk about business, and we talk about triumphing in both. And we do embrace transitions relentlessly, right, Teresa?
Yes.
So, here we are today. We're going to be talking about how to manage change. Um, so we kind of have 6 tips for managing change, and we're just going to go through them and let you know what we do when we get into those situations where we know something's got to change. Right?
Yes. Yes.
It
Yes.
could be your
Yes.
job. It could be your house. Something's got to change. So,
Hmm.
but it can be very fearful. And we talked about that in another podcast that change can cause a lot of fear. And so now in this podcast, we're going to focus more on getting over that fear.
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I like to get to solutions.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So, first off, just to go ahead and jump on into it, start with yourself. If it seems like there needs to be change, the first thing is to control your negative thoughts, which we refer to around here in our podcast land, we refer to it as thinking thinking. So when you have those constant negative thoughts, sometimes things are going wrong and there needs to be a change, and we project it out and blame others or other things or things, the environment around us. But sometimes if we take a closer look, it's really stemming from within us, so our own mindset, our own thoughts, our own perceptions. So a tip, my first tip would be, towards controlling your negative thoughts, would be to write them down.
Hmm.
Maybe for each negative thought, put a self affirmation with it,
Great.
you know, and start saying it every day. Have it on hand to where every time that thought comes up, this is what your response is going to be. Even if you don't necessarily believe it, but you probably shouldn't believe the negative thought either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but an affirmation, the more you say it, the more you start to believe it. So that would be my recommendation on controlling your negative thoughts.
Yeah, and kind of along that same line, I think a great way to take control of that stinking thinking um, is to do some quiet reflection about the reality of what you're thinking about, and this could be through meditation. It could be through journaling. Just get it all down. Reflect on whether that those negative thoughts are really serving you, and are they really telling you the truth? Um, you need to take control of that stinking thinking habit you have. And affirmations, journaling, meditation. um, One thing I like to do is I actually like to do kind of a deep dive journal into things I'm grateful for. It just kind of switches that trigger, from focusing on those negative thoughts to the reality that there's a lot of good stuff going on too. And when you're facing change, don't just think about all the obstacles. Think about the things you're going to be happy for, you're going to be grateful for, and that helps you, let loose, loosens the control of those negative thoughts over the situation. So yeah, yeah. Um, and I the other one, the next one we have, is to have confidence in yourself. Believe in yourself, like love yourself, believe that you have the competence to handle the change. um, you know Even if it means you're making a huge lifestyle change, so you're going from, um, a job in, um, Jonestown to a job in, New York. um, you're not going to change. The core of you is not going to change. Don't fear that change because you fear it's going to change you. Have confidence that you know what you're doing and that you can handle whatever life throws your way in that new situation that you're creating for yourself.
Mhm. Definitely, I like that. And it can be difficult, and we understand that. So we're definitely not making light in any of these tips that we're sharing with you today. So it can be difficult to have confidence and to believe in yourself and to think that you're like all that, as they say, in a bag of chips. Because Rosalind and I, we just think we're just everything. but trust me, it has
You
been a
got
work.
all the answers.
It has been a work in progress, and we've just kind of learned to use change as a tool. But it can really be difficult to have confidence in yourself and express that and show that, especially if that hasn't been a habit of yours.
Yeah.
But I suggest just taking some baby steps. Perhaps if there's a huge task that you have to do, on the way to your self confidence, pick something small that that you can actually do. And then once you accomplish that, then pat yourself on the back. Also, you can create for yourself, just take some quiet time, a few moments, and think about what you would love to believe about yourself.
Yeah.
What would you love to believe about yourself? Not just hear other people say about you, but what would you love to believe about yourself? Write those things down, at least 5, and then repeat them to yourself, every day. I am smart. I am confident. I can, whatever it is, have your 5 affirmations and repeat them, to yourself every day, even if you don't believe them. Again, echoing off of number 1, even if you don't believe them in the beginning, the more you say them, then the more you actually embrace them and they come true for you.
Yeah, for sure. And the more you can connect to your inner wisdom that way and your inner strength that way, the less scary the change you're considering will be, because you will have, um, that confidence that we're looking for, right?
Mhm.
It exists within you. You just have to know how to bring it out and how to
Right.
connect to it, right? And
Definitely.
Teresa's the queen of affirmations, so but they do work. So
They really do.
they are a great way to help you build your confidence. We did a whole podcast on confidence, so go back and look in our archives and, listen up on that one, because that can take, just talking about confidence could take us a whole, another 30 minutes. But today we're trying to focus on, 6 quick tips for managing change. What's your next one there,
So
Teresa?
we're at number 3. So number 3, allow yourself to freak out. Oh my goodness, I actually love this. Just whatever it is that you need to do, close the doors and just scream, shout, cry, fall down if you need to, fall on the bed, do all of that. Just allow yourself to just get it out, whatever your frustration or your fear or your sadness or whatever it is, just allow yourself to just get it out. But put a time frame on it. This is not You're not going to go into the rabbit hole and just stay there and stay there and stay there and stay there. I can remember once. I'll give you an example. I was working with this client, and I just thought our relationship was just wonderful. And I started out with them doing one thing, but after I completed it, I really wanted to continue to work with them, and I just was sure that we would continue to work together. However, when that project was over, they basically took my ideas and the things that I had shared with them, and they moved on, without me, which I guess was okay, but it really, really, really hurt my feelings. And so I remember sitting in my car. That's just how sad I was. And I called one of my colleagues, and I was sharing with her, what happened. And you know what she said to me, and I just thought, okay. She said, all of those credentials that you had yesterday, do you still have those credentials? And I was like, yes. And she says, well, I'm going to need you to take about 30 minutes, go on and cry about this, and go and get your next client. And I thought, oh my gosh, I thought that was so harsh. But you know what? I allowed myself that time to have my pity party, but she was exactly right. Nothing had really changed about me. And I just moved on. And guess what? To my next client.
Yeah, and doing this sort of allowing yourself to do this sort of freak out about the change that you're considering in your life, or about the change you're experiencing, because sometimes change isn't something you're considering. Sometimes it just happens, right?
Yes.
But allowing yourself this opportunity to freak out actually is a way for you to, like you did, to deal with the overwhelming emotions you're feeling in the moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you stuff them all down and you don't process them, you're actually going to feel worse. You'll feel like everything associated with the change is bad. Being upset in these situations where change is forced upon us, or where we're thinking about taking that big step into a new career or whatever the case may be, it's all normal. It's all normal. And take some time. Take some time to work out those emotions. And that's what this is about, allowing yourself to freak out. You're working out your emotions associated with the situation. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Number 4.
yeah, narrate your own story.
Yes.
And this is all about, we all tend to live thinking that all these societal expectations, our friends' expectations, our family expectations, they can kind of weigh you down. So we don't go with the flow. We don't go with what's really speaking to us inside. Life doesn't give you a manual, right? So write your own manual. Basically,
Right.
what do you think of that, Teresa?
Yes. I say, on the flip side, I say, tell it like it is, sister. Tell
Yeah.
it like it is, not like it appears. We all wear a mask. So let me say that again. We all wear a mask. So even the people that we seek approval from, they're wearing a mask. So we all wear a mask in some area, of our lives. And, the way that we present to the world isn't always our authentic self. But guess what? That, uh, as they say, perpetrating or just not really being authentic and trying to fit into like some mold is almost like putting that square peg into the round hole, right?
Exactly.
It can
Yeah.
really just be uncomfortable when you do it day after day after day after day. So I suggest just take some time, as Rosalind said, and narrate your own story. Really get in touch with who you are and what it is that you like, and implement that as much as possible. Really, I say 100%, but as much as possible into your everyday life. It will actually really give you freedom, and that the people who are around you, that they really appreciate you because they're able to see you as your real person.
Yeah.
So tell your own story, not
Yeah.
someone else's or what you think that people want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And just it's all about being authentic. And the truth is, the more authentic you are, and this I'm finding as I age, the more authentic I am, the the more people are drawn to you
Mhm.
because they see the real you.
Mhm.
Um and it really is not about living by societal. I mean, of course, we have to live by societal expectations. We have to wear a mask if that's what's being mandated upon us. But but you don't have to live your life according to someone else's um, expectations of what your life should be. You create
Yes.
your own life.
Yes,
Yeah.
occupy your corner of the universe
That's
well.
right. Yeah. 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 So when you're considering a change or a change is happening to you, remember that. Remember that you can choose the way this situation is going to affect you. You can choose the way you're going to move forward. You don't have to do anything that doesn't feel good to you with respect to that change,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So if
Yeah,
you feel like you need to get the heck out of that company, you need to find a new job, don't let don't let people around you tell you that you're crazy
yes,
for
yes.
leaving the comfort of that job.
Mhm,
If it's making you that unhappy, create your own reality.
mhm, yes. And number 5, I like it, equally as well, is just go nuts. Invite some excitement. You're facing change. Still invite some excitement into your life. Do something different. Go out and do something different. Take yourself to a spa. Take yourself to dinner or to a movie, or go to that coffee shop and sit. Give yourself a staycation. I have so been thinking, about doing a staycation, just by myself, maybe going to a hotel for like an overnight stay or just like 2 days, and
I'll get an
go
adjoining room.
go absolutely go and spend the day at the spa and go to dinner and spend the night and get up the next morning and come home. It doesn't have to be something that you do away, where you go out of town. Look at your budget, and but sometimes just just taking some time, really for yourself, and removing yourself like from home. Like home can be relaxing, but when we're at home, we can always find things to do, especially us as women. I mean, if I'm at home, I'm always thinking, okay, I could clean this, I could move this, I could do, this. And I do relax at home. But man, if you're like away and like nobody is asking you any questions except how they can serve you,
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
like music to my ears.
Yeah, going nuts and allowing yourself to freak out might seem very similar to our listeners, but allowing yourself to freak out is about the negative emotions associated with the change that you're going through, that you're experiencing. Going nuts is about inviting something exciting in, and getting away from the stress of the change in the moment. Get yourself out of that rut. um, give yourself a bit of a shock so that you feel more refreshed.
I
So
was just getting ready to say it, because if you go nuts and allow yourself, I mean, whatever, big or small, that
yeah,
staycation, that might be on the bigger end. But just going, even if you go to the spa, it doesn't have to be all day. Go and have
yeah,
a facial, or go have your feet done.
yeah.
If you can see me on the thing,
You
just go
know,
and have your feet done, or having a hand massage. It doesn't have to be an
yeah,
all day or a super expensive type of thing. Oh, definitely, definitely.
yeah.
And when you do that, you can come back, as you said, refreshed.
Yeah, yeah. So, just do something that makes you smile, that brings you some joy. And when I've talked about this with clients and in other situations in the past, I've said, well, you know, dye your hair purple. you know, just do some. If that's what brings you joy in the moment, dye your hair purple. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's not going to hurt you, but it may just make you, when you look in the mirror, have a little smile on your face, a little extra bounce in your step, and that's what
Look,
going nuts is about,
both are
right?
going to get a purple wig.
Well, you can buy the Halloween stuff, right? It washes out within a few
No,
days.
I'm sure these days somewhere there's a purple wig.
Oh, I'm sure
I,
there
I
is.
mean, I've been at the beauty salon and I saw these two ladies and I thought they were sisters, but one had her hair blue, and it was uh, like a, like a bird. Like, what's that color? Blue, like a really pastel blue. And then
Oh,
her
okay, yeah.
sister had hers in this green, but it also was just this very faint pastel. And now, by the time the person, the stylist, got through with their hair, I wanted my hair to be blue or green as well. But when I came home and I mentioned it to my husband, all I kept hearing was no, 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 no. He didn't even let me explain. But their hair it was like beautiful. It was probably styled like mine is,
Yeah.
but it was just that color. So it was like really, really pretty. But he was like, no. But
Well, and I bet when they left that salon, they had a little extra step in their
oh,
in
they
a
were
little extra
happy.
bounce
They
in
were
their
happy,
step.
and like I
Yeah,
said, it was beautiful.
yeah,
It really
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah. So going nuts when you're in some situation, like changing how you have to live, or um, changing your job, or even the change that we've all been experiencing for the last 2 years of living a different life, being more at home, eating out less, all of those kind of changes, they can really build up and weigh you down. And, allowing yourself to freak out is one way to manage those negative things. But like, let's, once you've done that, let's invite some excitement in. Let's put some bounce back in your step. And it doesn't have to be a big day at a spa, like Teresa said. It can, go to the um
Go to the
uh,
matinee.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just do something that's going to put a little bounce back in your step, so
Hmm.
that you know you aren't always preoccupied with that change. And our last but not least um tip about evaluating about whoops gave it away there, about managing change, is to evaluate what you're feeling. So, you know change is scary. There's no two ways about it. It can be exhilarating, but it can also be very, very scary. And you know a lot of us will sit with that fear and we'll let it consume us. But what if you just start thinking about it a little differently, that it's a signal that something good is entering your world. And so that's what I mean by evaluating it. Whatever you're feeling, write it down, look at it. What is it telling you, right? And you'll get more clarity that way. You'll get clarity about whether the change is necessary. You'll get clarity about how big you want the change to be. Like, there is something about taking a moment, taking a while to evaluate exactly what you're feeling about this change that you're considering or that's being forced upon you.
Absolutely. So, guys, we have come to the end of another episode. So, just to recap, 6 tips for managing change are: 1, control your negative thought processes; 2, have confidence in yourself. Well, actually, it's an acronym for change. So, C, control your negative thoughts; H, have confidence in yourself; A, allow yourself to freak out; N, narrate your own story; G, go nuts; and E, evaluate what you are feeling. I hope that these tips have been very helpful to you. We hope that they have been helpful to you. They are based on our own life experiences. Thank you so much for being on this journey with us as we strive to just handle these transitions that constantly come our way. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel at Relentless Transitions. Relentless Transitions. Certainly, we would love it if you would like, subscribe, and share, and leave us a comment. If you have a way that we did not mention of how you actually handle change that could be really helpful, we would love to hear from you. Our takeaway from today is: give yourself permission to reposition. Just embrace that change and just think of it like that. It is a repositioning. Give yourself permission to reposition. Thank you so much, and we'll see you back again for the next episode of the Relentless Transitions podcast.
Thanks for listening, everyone.